All right, here we go. We'll be talking today, first elementals, deep dive into prospecting. What we should be focused on every day, we're going to be talking about lead generation for buyers and sellers. Again, kind of really diving into those. So, connecting the prospecting to lead generation, deep dive into those prospecting methods, talk about them a little bit, take action, really develop your plan, and put together your success list. You should be able to describe prospecting and how it contributes to your lead generation efforts. We talked about this quite a while ago. This out of the way here. There we go. The flow of the lead generation model. Of course, prospecting and marketing, capturing those leads into your database, getting the leads in there so that you can make your offer to keep in contact with them, make contacts, connecting, and offer. So you have those leads as they come in, and then they moved over to actual contacts where you ask for permission to stay in touch with them, provide them with value, and they essentially opt in. So in that funnel, that's kind of how this works. I like it up and down, but this is side to side leads and then contacts underneath. And at that point, you then move into the pipeline and you cultivate, right? You stay in contact, you use your 36 touch, and here you have a confirmation on yes or no, they've got some business. And from there, of course, we work to set an appointment as an active listing or buyer under contract and close, and then they go back up to your contact, permission for marketing, and 36 touch. Any questions about that?
Nope.
Pretty solid. Oh, man. Pretty easy to understand. So we want to make sure that our lead generation is always purposeful and intentional, because it's, the lifeblood of the business, right? Without having some kind of prospecting, whether you have to connect with people, you have to be able to tell them you're an agent, you have to put that information out there. And it's taking a message and using a specific method to drive that message to a desired audience. So we got to match our market, we make some kind of offer, target audience, market conditions, we talk about what's happening, buyers, sellers, kind of knowing and understanding who you're talking to, renters, homeowners, those kind of things. We make some kind of offer, whether it's a direct or indirect offer, to get a response. You've got over here, prospect and marketing, right? Time block, prepare, take action, and maintain. And this talks about that funnel, right? Two primary methods of getting your message out to your target group: prospecting and marketing. So we're going to be talking about prospecting. Marketing is money intensive, passive, does provide long-term results. Your prospecting is your time intensive, proactive, immediate results. What would an example be of marketing where you have that passive, long-term results? Any thoughts? And it costs money.
Well, what I have been doing is door knockers, cards, letters, some phone calling.
So generally, what you just described, most of it is marketing, right? Because it's passive to an extent. Of course, you've got to prepare it and get it together, but you get the information out there and you're hanging the knockers and not talking directly to somebody. Prospecting is going to take a lot more of your time to reach the amount of people you want to reach. You do have to be proactive in that, and it will typically provide immediate results. Again, kind of that numbers game, right? It keeps you active versus reactive in the act of searching for your leads. Why do you think it might be a better option to be more prospecting based and marketing enhanced rather than the other way around? Marketing heavy and prospecting enhanced. What do you see as a potential problem to be heavier on the marketing and lighter on the prospecting?
Marketing's gonna cost money.
Going to cost money.
Prospecting does cost money, but it's much more time consuming.
Minimal investment, and so there's a heavier investment in terms of marketing. Another thing that I see is going to be result timeline, right? You're spending a ton of money, your results are going to take a lot longer to come. They will come, and it's awesome to be in working with prospecting and marketing to supplement each other. The problem is a lot of people are going to run out of money before they get the results they need to get in order to keep paying for the marketing. So that's a big part of it as well. All right, let's take jump on to page 4 of your guide. Let's see here. Obviously, we've got a variety of prospecting methods to be able to share your message. Oh, excuse me, I can't talk today. What are some of the ones that you've tried?
We prospected our neighborhood the last 5 years, probably 20 times.
Okay, and what specifically have you done in the neighborhood?
Door knocking,
Okay,
mailed postcards,
okay,
and just door knockers.
hangers. Like,
Yeah, door
yeah.
hangers. In other neighborhoods around us, we have sent postcards. We have had door hangers. And then several other communities that we picked, we sent cards and we done the door hangers.
Okay. And what have the results been so far?
Out of letters, we've gotten 1. Out of the door hangers, we've gotten 1. And nothing else.
Okay.
Everything else that we've gotten was referral.
And are those recent or are those like
Yeah.
okay? So not the letters that you've done
The
recently.
last one we got was last March. And that was the door hangers.
Okay.
It was 5 minutes after they went out. It shocked us because we had done it already 20 times.
So how many, for any idea how many hangers you hung in order to get the 1 and letters you sent in order to get the 1?
About 500
Okay,
hangers got us 1.
okay,
And the hangers cost us $219 for the 500. Then it cost us about another 200 to have couples go hang them. So it cost us about $500 for 1 listing.
Okay.
Um,
and that listing produced in terms of commission, so return on your investment?
yeah, we got close to $8,000.
Okay. So 500 to get it.
Right.
You think if you did another 500, you would have gotten another one, or,
Well, we have 500 ready to go.
okay. All right, so you're
We already
working
have
on putting some more out there now.
All right.
Awesome. So one of the things that's funny, no matter what you pick up here, your success truly comes from one major thing. What do you think that might be?
Talking to people.
Definitely got to talk to people in order to get the deals. In working these activities, you pick one. Which one do you think is best for you? Right? Which one do you think is the easiest way to success for you?
The community outreach.
Okay, community outreach, charity and volunteer work. Now, in order to make the biggest difference in your business, what do you think has to happen in doing that?
Wishing you.
Well, I think number one, the point I'm driving at here is going to be consistency. So as you decide what's best for you, you also stay consistent with it. And with consistency, you actually have to prospect, right? So we've talked a little bit about the community outreach and that gap between asking for business, or at the very least putting the information out there. So we need to make sure that's happening as we do the outreach and charity work and volunteer work and all of those things. And it can be very powerful to do that. We just need to make sure that we're talking about that side of the business as we do it. But consistency is important, right? So knowing that you got a lead from the door hangers, and knowing you got a lead from the letters, or business from that. We did 500 of the door hangers, and similar to the letters, 500 or something along those lines. If you consistently kept doing it, my guess is you probably even up those results. Knowing a couple of things, we want to make sure that we're farming this area that overturns. So we have a history of the right community that has enough sales in to justify the amount of marketing you're doing, but consistency on that is going to be pretty important, because I found that results typically compound as you continue.
So 90% of what we're doing is old Sterling.
Okay.
My older brother, a few years back, was the #1 realtor in Minnesota. And that's what he did. He went to the low communities and worked in low communities. So I figured if my brother can do that, maybe I can do that. So that's what we have focused on. Yet we still will do neighborhoods and countryside.
Yep.
We'll do a neighborhood in Lowe's Island.
Yep.
And we do a neighborhood in Cascades. But we've pretty much been focusing, and 75, at least 4 of our, we maybe sold 8 houses now, and I think 4 of them have come from Sterling. So we've been really focusing on the Sterling people.
Now, are you farming those specific neighborhoods with those hangers and letters and all that? Okay, good. Okay, awesome.
And why we're doing Sterling? Nobody here wants to go over there.
Yeah.
That's why we're doing it.
Okay.
Because I don't have any competition of these guys over there.
There you go.
They're all over here and elsewhere.
Okay.
So we figured a few years back, let's just focus here. But we put our little fingers out here and there.
Sure.
But we figured there's enough in our neighborhood. We don't live in Sterling Park. We live outside of the park, but it's right there.
Yeah. You're right.
And 90% of our friends go to the churches there, where 90% of the people that I help live there. You know, so to us, to Jane and I,
Makes
we
sense.
figure they know us through our organization, they know us through the churches. Not all of them, but a lot of them.
Sure.
So that's what we're hoping.
Sounds like you got some good strategy for behind it. So you're essentially having that as part of your touch plan, like they see you more frequently, right? Because of your outreach and your community involvement in the churches and with your nonprofit. Okay, good. Well, let's talk a little bit about options, deep diving in those prospecting activities. So door knocking, agent to agent referrals, open houses, and social media is what we're going to be talking about. Do we currently use any of the information here?
We did open houses.
Okay.
Before COVID.
Yeah.
We haven't done anything like that since then. You gotta remember, Janie has a full-time job.
Right.
And I have a part-time job. So to do open houses on the weekend is pretty tough for us.
Yeah.
Particularly with the nonprofit, most of my time I'm spending with people is Saturday. It's just, but
yeah,
social media, we set up a Facebook page a couple years ago. And for a couple years, I paid an advertisement place to keep running the ads on it. But they've gotten too ridiculous.
Social media wise.
Yeah, so I've quit paying them and I just put little blurbs on my Facebook page occasionally. Like I said before, I'm about to hire someone. I haven't decided, gone all the way with it. I'm still teetering in my mind for somebody to take over my Facebook page and to take over all my emails and stuff like that.
Okay.
Because I am not tech savvy in the least bit. I haven't got that type of talent or insight. So being a business owner in the past, particularly a contractor, I learned you hire the people that do that job to do that job. That I can't do all jobs. I can do one job, but I know other people do it better than I. And it's just a matter of making the phone call and saying, yes, we're going to jump. We're going to spend the money. Because spending the money right now is to me, it's no thought at all. But to my wife, it's a heavy thought. Because we're getting near the retirement point, and she's really freaking. So I step lightly. We've thought about, which I don't know if we'll do it, advertising on the radio. That's a big hunk of money.
It is. Yeah.
But a hell of a lot of people will hear you.
That's true.
So we are debating that right now, seriously debating it.
Yeah. Have the right message. Be ready to handle the calls.
So
Awesome. Well, let's chat a little bit more about some of the prospecting avenues here. Let's dive into door knocking some. Approach, act, ask, and advance. So door knocking can be a great way to kind of jumpstart that business, get involved a little bit, have a face-to-face contact. A lot of people feel that's way better than a phone call or marketing or anything like that. Of course, not taking into account COVID or anything like that, but it provides the opportunity to actually ask for business, offer advice, be a resource, and give contact information and those kind of things. It puts you as a local agent in a farm. People will often remember you at that point. and enhancing your prospecting. So if you're consistent with the letters or the door hangers or the postcards or whatever that might be, this is the way to supplement that and create an additional touch for those people to solidify you as a local agent, as an expert real estate professional. Yeah. What are some limiting beliefs around door knocking? Is it something that you've done?
Oh, yeah,
Is it something that you're still willing to do?
that I don't know. But yes, and each time we've done the door knocking, we've done it a good half a dozen times in our neighborhood.
Okay,
We've done it together. We've done it with not walking our pet. We've done it with our grandchildren. You know, we're walking, she'll hang out with the kids or the dog, and I knock on the door. But I have no problems with it. I have no problems at all knocking on the door saying, hi, how you doing, talking to somebody.
yeah,
That didn't bother me. But since COVID, I feel very reluctant to do that because people are still,
sure,
you know, I'm not, but you don't know how people feel.
sure,
People are weird. No, that doesn't bother me in the least bit,
okay.
you know.
Are there steps you can take to have people feel more comfortable around door knocking?
Wear a mask, step back. I think that's stupid. Sorry.
No, hey, yep,
Yeah, Janie and I don't want, we talk every night. Every night.
yep,
I mean, every single night. Between 7:30 and 8, we go and do our talk. And
about your business or just?
yeah,
talk? Okay,
every night
okay, good,
for years.
good,
She's not into that. Her biggest fear and my biggest fear is we don't want to sound like a real estate agent. We don't want to act like a real estate agent. We want people who know us, who trust us,
mhm,
and deal with them that way. We don't. My mother was a real estate agent for 30 years. She's the fakiest woman that was ever walked. I mean, all her was, it was just. And from what we have seen, what we've learned, it's just something, we have a limit. We don't want to, we feel like we're selling out our personalities. We're just, you understand what I'm saying?
I do,
So since the beginning, we decided that we're going to be us. And we're going to be the good, nice, honest people we are, and talk to people on their level and not try and float something by. That we weren't going to get into a script, that everybody's going to hear a script or familiar script from us each time, that we were going to be us and express what we're doing, like our new letter that we just sent out. And now we're getting ready to send out another letter to our B section. We're sending them an A section, we have a certain letter.
yep,
And now we have a letter that we put together for our B. And then we have the C that we just don't really know. A, we know,
mhm,
familiar with. They know us, they love us, period.
yep,
B, they know us, but they're not really friends. Okay, they
Gotcha.
are friends.
Yep.
I have a lot of great friends.
yep,
And I can call them friends, not just associates or somebody I meet, no, true friends. So we are dividing and separating, going through the database and trying everything to reach without becoming who we are.
I can certainly appreciate that. Thank you for sharing with me
We do.
that you don't want to be a real estate agent. Right? So like the annoying agent.
Correct.
Yeah. So I definitely understand where you're coming from. So I guess my biggest question then to you is, in doing these activities, are you afraid that that's going to somehow change you guys?
Only no, what would change us would be trying to fit into a mold and being seen in that mold. Like I bought a new truck weekend before last.
Yep.
And I walked into the place and I thought, oh yeah, they hate, they're hated as much as I'm hated because I'm a real estate agent.
Mhm.
And I sat down with the guy I bought the truck from him. And I asked him, how do you get your business? And he goes, I just talk to my friends. I said, you don't go out there, you don't shake the bushes, you don't do anything. He goes, no. I go, how can you sit here all day hoping? It just boggled me that I walk in this place and there's somebody sitting here, and they're just waiting for somebody to walk in the door.
Mhm.
You know, it's kind of like what we're doing.
Mhm.
I see that. But no, we are reaching out.
So I guess one of the biggest things then is, I mean, knowing you guys and knowing your values and everything like that, do you feel that they would be better served using you for your real estate needs, you and Jane,
Oh, yeah.
than anyone else?
Oh, yeah.
Don't you have an obligation to them to shout it from the rooftops?
Oh, yeah. That's
Door
why
knock
we're
and-
sending them another letter.
Good. So we want to make sure that we're doing as much as we can to get in front of
Right. Have you ever looked at my Facebook page?
them. I think so, but
Well, if you did, you wouldn't, maybe every month or so, you might see real estate. All I talk about is God.
yeah,
And period. And when people see me, that's what they're expecting. I answer questions. I try to be a link.
sure.
And so we're trying to, I guess, put that real estate inside and we're doing, people know we are.
Yeah.
It's just that the people that we know, they're not gonna move. They're
But do they know people you don't know?
right, and that's what the letter was
Mhm.
all about that we just sent out.
Yep.
I wrote some very nice handwritten cards. Each one was different.
Good.
So that if someone says, I got a letter from Vinny, and I deliberately, every single one was personal.
Yep.
And different.
Yep.
So
Good.
I have been thinking.
Okay. So I'm glad that you're working on it, Benny, and you're going outside your comfort zone. I know you mentioned before, kind of asking for that business was a tough sticking point for you. But in order to get there, you're not going to get it if you don't ask.
And I get
That's for
nagged
sure.
every night for a half hour.
We got to start asking. Another possibility here is agent to agent referrals. Come from agents that you know and agents you meet to make sure you're top of mind. So they think of you to refer business outside of the areas. One of the cool things that we can do is use Command as a part of this. I know there's some opportunity in Command to see agents that are referring business to the area, locations that refer more business to our area than others.
I have connected with probably 20, 30 of them.
Yeah. Broadcast, send, receive, map search features, I mean, all of that. So how do you stay top of mind? It's a matter of keeping in contact with them, just like you would Sphere and others. So if you have agents that, you would expect an area, people moving from one area to another, you want to keep in contact with them. You always touch them, you never know what could be. You keep them on your newsletter, you keep them on your touch database so that you have that. I'll let Mike go through this. So if you want to learn more about command referrals and kind of how to go through that process, then ask our tech guy. It's probably a good one for him to go through too. Open houses, prepare, prospect, and pursue. Where would you expect most of your leads to come from at an open house? You hold an open house. Oops. Go back. Of course, one way to get leads through an open house is to be there at the open house.
So we've had 4 or 5 open houses in the past. And then we've done a couple open houses for other people. And yes, we made flyers and went to the neighborhood. One time we knocked on all the neighbor doors for about 20 houses each direction.
Yep.
Nothing.
Okay.
So we quit after so many. We didn't have time to waste on the weekend.
Sure.
We have 9 grandchildren. We have a gardens. Okay, so I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm just trying to say how it is.
Yep. So for me with an open house, the only thing that actually happens on the weekend is the open. So there's a chart here on page 8 in your book. It talks about kind of what to do to help prepare and plan. But the only thing that happens on the weekend is going to be the open. It's similar there, except door knocking in the neighborhood. But you can set up that whole scenario the same way. The day before the open, or the Friday before, or the Thursday before. You can hang the flyers, do the door knocking, make the phone calls, and that's the type of thing I would venture to say you should do before every open, because you should realistically be able to get 2 people from every open, even if nobody shows up to the open. And that's going to be around the plan that you have in place to do the open house, right? You should have an excellent script ready to go of your introduction. Probably a couple. I think Mike shared the last time we were here, that he would have many scripts prepared, like intros, so that it didn't sound like he was saying the exact same thing to everybody that was coming through the door. But it helped start the conversation to get them where he needed to be, asking about their business and that, or their plans and how he might be able to help them. Flyers, signage, social media can help enhance your prospecting and increase your probability of pulling business.
Well, the last 4 houses that I have sold, they were sold first day.
Yep.
They didn't get to the open house.
Is there a requirement to have an open house before it sells? Can you still hold an open after the fact?
I don't know if the buyers want that, or the sellers after it's already sold.
Yeah. So sometimes what you can do is you can have a expectations conversation. I was talking about this at the team meeting today. So a lot of things can happen when you have the right expectation conversation. So one of the things that we always did is leave it open to be able to have an open house. We typically did not accept first offers, and that's the expectation we had in this market that we're in now, that it was going to be a review type situation, that they would expect multiple offers on every single house, and they would review them all on Monday. So we planned everything that way. So the opportunity for the open house was there, but even if not, the open house was never presented as a way to get a buyer for the listing. It was always presented as a way to supplement marketing for that listing. But we always know, and so did our sellers, that typically the people at the open are the buyers. However, that does not mean it doesn't result from the open. So the reason we do opens is to get leads, and we know that, and we typically tell the sellers that. So do a lot of work to market and sell your property, and some of the reason that we're able to pay for that is we can expect 1 to 2 people that'll either be buying or selling coming from your open house. So the reason that we're able to market and sell your home for top dollar stems from you allowing us to continue our business and move it forward. So that's one of the expectations conversations we would always have. Now, like, as I mentioned, one of the things that we did was always set it up so that we can have an open if we wanted to. Of course, in most cases, we would do it on the homes that we would expect them to sell quickly anyway. Again, it wasn't for selling the house, it was for getting listings. And just the expectations conversation around that is what we would present to the seller.
So take the myth out of my mind, it's a waste of time.
Yep. There are many people that run a business on open houses. It's a matter of what fits you best, right? Some people pull open houses and other listings and those kind of things, and not even their own listings. They have a buyer focus, and that's where they get their leads, open houses. But it's a matter of being prepared, actually prospecting, and pursuing and following up, right? So you have to make sure that you have that information ahead of time. You should prepare for an open house. You should have similar properties that have recently sold and or coming soon or coming on the market that are available. So you know the neighborhood. You should have the information readily available so that you're knowledgeable and presenting yourself as an expert, right? Do your research on the neighborhood and prospecting the neighborhood. Get out there and door knock and phone call and leverage that open house for those people in the neighborhood. Who do you know that's looking to make a move? We might be able to get the house sold for, or whatever that might be. The scripts that are out there are available. But that's your prospecting. In and around the open house, not just at the open, is very key and very important. Could also be prospecting a move up or step down neighborhood, depending on what the size of the neighborhood is, right? If it's a starter home, single family home, smaller ranch style house, then you typically would then prospect a move up neighborhood, right? Or vice versa. If it's a larger house, typically holding families and that, then you could prospect the other way around, or go even farther and do local neighborhoods with condos or whatever. Just depends on what your goal in the business is, and that could be something that you could market it for. So you market the open to a neighboring community of renters. If it's a starter home, like, you could call all the renters and say, hey, got this open house, you guys should come see it. I'm doing, informing people about buying homes and why it raises their net worth, something like that, right? So it's prospecting around that open, and then actually pursuing the people that you get in contact with, following up, staying top of mind, putting those people in the database, and getting your information out to them. Add contacts, follow up, stay top of mind. Crazy. I just said that. So make sure there's a smart plan. Cultivate them. These are people that have enough interest that they actually either went to an open, depending on if you got them from the open or you prospected around it. They will most likely be in your cultivate. They will be on some kind of plan, some kind of 36 touch or something along those lines at the very least. But get them in your system, get them in your database. Don't leave them on a Post-it note or the sign-up sheet or whatever. This is the actual open. What do you think stands out at an open? A guest speaker, such as a general contractor, a stager, may draw a little bit more of a crowd. So you could have, somebody else there to talk and provide them with value, a partner, right? Offer a gift, like cookies or food that draw people to things. Visitor card with clues. That's an interesting one. Hold a raffle, gift certificate.
We've done all that.
So make it a little bit more lively, right? Scavenger hunt. This is interesting. Give visitors a card with clues and questions to answer as they tour the home. Some example questions are: how many fireplaces does the home have? Which room had an inviting window seat overlooking the backyard? Which rooms featured custom built shelving, etc. You want to make sure, of course, the house is in showing shape, that you don't have junk lying all around and everything's good. It's a welcoming home as you're in the open. And then, of course, go live. Bring your social media, engage them as you're doing it as well. That's a requirement for our team. It was at that point. I don't know if they're still doing it, but they were doing live on every open as they arrived at the property 30 minutes early or whatever it was. They were doing a live, touring the house a little bit beforehand and saying, hey, come on down to see the rest. Got to get the open started, whatever it was. So they were doing that at every single one. So you have your advertising out, you've got your information on social media, whatever platform you use or want to use, and that's an option as well.
How many people were on the team?
16. Social media, another avenue. Select, seek, share, service. Lead generation strategy in many real estate businesses, it allows the user to create content and share content with an audience. And of course, it's made up of people that they know in most cases. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, those kind of things, right? Schedule for posts, make sure your branding is there, create that social media presence for your business, separate it to a business page. If that's something that's important to you, create that posting schedule and stick to it. Again, we're talking consistency. The more consistent you are with something, the better off you're going to be getting the information out there. Engage in active connections, return likes or interactions, and ask for business. Nurture, convert, follow up, and add to your database. As you're doing social media, you want to keep in mind that you want it not to be solely business focused, 20% business, 80% personal. And that's the model for success. Personal perspective of the 80-20 rule. It can be applied to social media tactics. It'll avoid lead generation burnout and keep you connected with your followers. Kind of like the same idea as we've talked about when you're keeping in contact and following up with your sphere and your past clients. You don't call them and just talk about business. It should be 20% business or less. It should be 80% personal. Same idea with social media. You're keeping in contact. This is your sphere. It's just transferring one media platform to a different one, from your phone call to your computer, right? Show the world who you are. You do a great job of this already. Like your focus on social media you just shared with me was what's important to you, right? It's 99% about God, and that's the way it should be. It should be a focus on that, and then balance it to keep current and relevant simply by providing value and information. And it's not sales tactics online. It's not anything like that. It's providing value and information. What's happening in the market now? What can they expect? Tips and tricks for buying and selling. Those are the type of things that you should be posting or adding. Photo album for a listing, maybe, to show them what's happening in certain neighborhoods. Important part. Once you figure out which is most important to you, you have to take action and develop your plan. 80% got 90% of their business from 5 sources or less. So we know as you develop your plan and focus your business, you want to focus on a couple of things and not all of the things, right? So you pick what's going to work for you and you keep that focus. This is KW Research Team, top lead generation sources for millionaire real estate agents. Referrals, SOI, non-referral, so actual sphere of influence, repeat business, purchase leads, and yard signs. Continuing with pay-per-click, open houses, and farming, telemarketing. Page 13 of your participant guide. It's going to be make your list and go through. We skipped over quite a bit, didn't we? List your lead sources, order lead sources, top 5 lead sources. Right? So this is the focus you want to have on your business. You list everything you're doing. You prioritize what you want to do, and then you determine where your focus is going to be, and then the other stuff will happen. Doesn't mean you stop it, but that's where you put most of your money and most of your time. Because we need to know what's the 20% of your activities that are going to provide that 8% of your results, right? So I would take the time to do this. We're not going to do it here in class. Well, that sounds like you've already done it anyway. But what are you going to focus on to build your brand, put your business into that next level of success? Develop the plan and follow it. Take action. And that's it, Vinny. That's all I got.
Well, I lost my listing last night.
Uh-oh.
She called me up in tears.
All right.
Yeah. She